for his remarks.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I call you my friend as well. And I look forward to a bipartisan markup after the last markup we had, which was quite a grueling exercise. And, we had a good debate, Everybody got their views out. But I always think this committee is best when we work together, and I know you feel the same way. But I'm pleased to be considering measures authored by my Republican colleagues, including Mr. Shabbat's Cambodia Democracy Act, Ms. Virginia Fox's War Crimes Rewards Expansion Act. Also pleased that you, sir, will allow my bill on the Global Malnutrition Prevention and Treatment Act go forward. Proud to lead this bipartisan legislation with you, sir, my good friends, alongside Representatives Kim and Houlihan. An estimated 3.1 million children perish every year due to malnutrition. It's really sad. And almost half of those deaths among children are under the age of 5 are linked to malnutrition, mainly in low and middle income countries. Every parent wants to be able to put food on the table. They want to be able to nourish their families and provide for themselves. Without proper nutrition, children can't learn, they can't go to school, and develop into healthy and capable adults. We also know that a lack of nutrients in the early stages of a child's life means a lifetime of developmental issues. So this bipartisan bill will support efforts to scale up targeted and effective nutrition programs in countries most at risk for severe malnutrition. We focus our efforts and leverage additional resources so we can have a real impact on people's lives around the world. I'm also proud of the work being done in the Texas community to tackle global food insecurity and malnutrition. Texas A&M, Baylor, UT Austin are pioneering cutting-edge research to improve food security. And the Eleanor Crook Foundation, along with constituents in my district, are drawing attention to the needs of some of the most vulnerable people in the world. I also want to thank USAID and our implementing partners for their partnership to advance this important legislation. And I'm pleased there are several important measures on this markup, and I do believe, but we are, Mr. Chairman, missing one important opportunity today. This committee should take action today to stand in solidarity with the people of Cuba. This historic time, these protests on the island, demonstrate the Cuban people's struggle for freedom and all that it entails. America must support the Cuban people in their efforts, and we must hold the Cuban dictatorship and the regime accountable for their human rights violations. This week, I had the opportunity to talk to many Cuban Americans at a rally across the White House, and I have to say it was very inspiring. Freedom-loving people, democracy, civil liberties are and should never become partisan issues. We always stand, Mr. Chairman, for democracy and freedom over tyranny and oppression, and that's what our founding fathers stood for. So these are bipartisan, that reinforce American principles that should be considered, I think, today. As members of Congress and Americans, we have a moral obligation and duty to support the Cuban people and their aspirations for a free and democratic society. So I hope on both sides of the aisle we can come together and support democracy, support what this nation was founded on, the idea. America's an idea, and it's about freedom and democracy over tyranny, oppression. Communism, communist dictators, socialist dictators is not the answer. I was also disappointed we couldn't bring up the Nord Stream 2. I've been talking about this for quite some time. We're allowing Putin's pipeline to go into Europe. As we shut down Keystone Pipeline, we allow Putin's pipeline to go into Europe, and the Russians attacked Colonial Pipeline, shutting down our own infrastructure in the United States. Not to mention the poisoning of Navalny, which violated the Chemical Biological Warfare Treaty. Putin needs to be sanctioned for this horrific act of attacking his political opponents with chemical poison. So, it's my sincere hope we consider measures related to these topics at the next markup. Again, as I said at the outset, I'm pleased to return to some bipartisanship, sir. And I think I probably speak for, I would say, almost every member of this committee when I say that, bar maybe a couple, but I think the most of us agree with this. So, and if I could close, sir, I really want to thank Ms. Manning and Ms. Kim and Mr. Wilson on this committee, Salazar, and all the members on this committee for supporting the Afghan women. The decision's been made to draw down, and we respect that. But we have to protect the women. The Taliban is making huge advances across the country. And when our military is out in just a matter of weeks, they will invade the provincial capitals, and I fear for the plight of the women left behind and what will happen to them under a Taliban rule of Sharia law, where they cannot be educated, they will be tortured. We saw the school of 200 children, girls, being blown up, and I think we still have, while we won't have troops there anymore, sir, I still think we have a moral obligation to protect them. And with that, I yield back.